The fact that this title grabbed your attention tells me that you no longer want to be consumed by stress and anxiety. Did you know that 8 out of 10 Americans report being under stress every single day? And also, the median age of anxiety is 31 years old. I always thought it was when you are really young, that's the onset of anxiety, but apparently it is not. Research has shown that it's 31 years old. So for some reason, as we tend to consume ourselves with stress and anxiety, and in this episode, I'm going to help you discover 3 steps so you can convert all the stress and anxiety to freedom. Because I know that's what you're here for, right? You want to feel freedom on the inside, and that's what I'm here to help you do that. So stay tuned. Hello, visionaries. Welcome to Create Your Vibrant Life podcast, where you can create the life you desire by tapping into your inner wisdom. I'm your host, Padma Ali. I'm widely known in the field of psychology to create long-lasting transformation. And now, I'm here to help you create the life you desire using a combination of neuropsychology and ancient healing practices. This podcast is for you, evolved, overachieving leader who's ready to unlock your highest potential. I'm here to guide you through a process of self-discovery to be the creator of your destiny. And you can do all of that by just taking aligned actions, tapping into the power of your brain, your inner wisdom, and ancient practices. So stay tuned, folks. I am so delighted you are here. Hello, friends. How are you? This is your host, Padma Ali, with episode number 53. And today we're going to be talking about what happens when you conquer stress and anxiety. Something happens. And I'm going to share with you what specifically happens at the end of this episode. And we're also going to be I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways that you can conquer stress and anxiety. And as I was researching this episode, I came across a Harvard Medical School article which said that chronic stress can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease. It can dampen the immune system, increasing susceptibility to common infections, contribute to asthma, digestive disorders, cancer, and other health problems. And now it also says that research shows that it supports that high levels of stress somehow speed up aging as well. Ooh, who wants that kind of spiral, right? See, the good news is that stress, anxiety are all just functions of your brain, your limbic brain to be very, very specific. And the limbic brain is programmed for survival, which means you can change it. Because we no longer live in a world where a saber-toothed tiger is going to attack us. But that's what the limbic brain thinks. It doesn't know the difference. But the bad news, is that it comes down to habit. Yes, to break these things, it comes down to breaking your habit. And we all know how hard it is to break habits. Especially when some habits have been there for many, 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 many years. See, I remember feeling anxious probably as long as I can remember. It took a long time. I've always had low-grade anxiety as long as I could remember. Well into my 20s, probably even into my 30s. And finally, after doing all this work on my own self, it's gone. I don't feel that anymore. And even if it comes up, it's very momentarily, and I have the tools. But it is really, for most people, that's why I was very surprised when I read that the median age of anxiety was 31, because I was like, I felt it all my life. And most people I've worked with, or most people I've talked to who struggle with anxiety, have felt that for pretty much all their life. So it's interesting. Now, let's go back to the limbic brain. Right? The limbic brain, or the reptilian brain, that is specifically designed for protecting you from it's survival based. It's what creates that fight or flight response when there is a real or perceived danger. It's very automatic. And I'm saying real or perceived in quotes because most danger is probably perceived unless, you're walking in the middle of the night in some part of the city where it is not safe, right? Then yes, it can be real danger, but you know what I'm talking about. And to change the automatic response of the brain or reaction of the brain, it's not response, it's a reaction, we have to change the neural pathways in the brain that are connected specifically with anxiety or with stress. So stay with me. Like when I start talking about neural pathways, a lot of people's eyes start glazing over, and I'm going to really make it simple for you. So imagine that the neural pathways is like a hiking trail. Right? And due to high traffic on that trail, it's a very popular trail. It goes to this beautiful location. And so this trail is very popular, and a lot of people walk on that trail every single day. And the path, because it's well walked, is so defined from the rest of the wilderness. Now imagine that the people walking are the stress and anxiety neurons firing. That the people are actually those neurons that are firing. The moment that there's a cue from the outside, these neurons start firing because that's what they do. It's literally like the doorbell rings and your dog starts barking. The dog is programmed to bark when the doorbell rings. It's as simple as that. This is exactly what happens in your brain. This is your brain's programming. Your brain is no different than the computer that you're sitting in front of right now. It is a computer. It's a machine. And because this path is so well used, these neurons, the moment there's a cue, they start firing. I have mentioned this in other episodes where the moment my husband would say, I'm going on a trip, my overwhelm neurons would start firing. Literally within seconds, they start firing because that's what my brain is programmed to do. It goes into catastrophic. How am I going to deal with these things? Goes down that plane so quickly because that's how fast neurons fire. Now I've created other neural pathways, which I'm going to share with you now, on how I can move from this neural pathway to that. And because as you stop using one pathway, it's just like in the wilderness, right? It starts to be occupied by the wilderness again. So you no longer have to use that neural pathway anymore. And even if it does, it's very short-lived and you can move on to the other one, which is more of the ones that will support your life in the way you want to be supported. So to change the outcome of stress and anxiety, we have to just stop those neurons from firing and create different neural pathways that will create the sense of peace and well-being. Now, it sounds simple, and it's probably simple to do when you break the habit, but it takes time. Now, because the stress and anxiety neurons are habit-driven, like I've shared before, like my overwhelm is habit, they act on cue. So whether you're driving and there's a car about to hit you, or there's a presentation at work, a car is about to hit you is real danger, but a presentation at work is not real danger, these neurons will fire the same exact way. They're driven completely by habit, and it's similar to brushing your teeth. Now, unless and until these patterns are broken, the stress neurons will continue to fire. I want you to really consider that. Now, are you realizing that the key to change is awareness? Yes, the more awareness you can bring to this, the more you can stop these neurons from firing. And that's why neuropsychology is one of my main pillars, which I work with my clients, identifying and changing these neural pathways. And then when these calm down, you can actually access your inner wisdom, your intuition to take actions. And when you do that, again, every time you break those patterns, you're creating change. And if you are the type of person who's like, I want to work on this, I want to feel freedom on the inside, I have one spot open for one-on-one coaching in March. And so please reach out to me. You can find the information in the show notes. And it's really amazing when you do this work, the results that you can see. If you're curious about the results my clients have had, just go to my website and you'll see a whole bunch of results there. And I can tell you how powerful this work is, but I'm going to let you discover that for yourself, because the more you do this work, you will see how much freedom you can gain. So are you ready for the 3 steps to getting freedom? So how do you do that? And obviously with my clients, I go through a more deeper process, but I'm going to share with you simple things that you can start doing right now, right away, to break these neural pathways. Because the faster you break them, the more the change is going to be. So the first one is something that you're doing even right now, talking to me. It's breathing. You may or may not realize the power of breath, but it is extraordinarily powerful. In fact, I'm going to ask you to do that right now. Just start by taking a deep, long breath and let it out. Take another deep breath in and hold your breath this time. And let it out. And as you let it out, just notice how relaxed your body is already starting to feel. How calm your mind is already starting to feel. Just by 2 intentional breaths. And I often recommend something called Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, which is an ancient breathing technique which is specifically meant to calm the nervous system. You can go look it up on YouTube. Nadi Shodhana. It's spelled as Nadishodhana. And I can put it in the show notes as well. So Nadi Shodhana Pranayama is a breathing technique, and it's so amazing to help with the nervous system, and it's an amazing thing to interrupt the patterns. Now, I recommend that doing any breathing practices, you do it not just when you're stressed or when you feel anxious, but set it up as a pattern, like as a habit that you can do every single day. Now, why is that important? Say you're building your muscles. You can, and you want to get really strong. You can't just do that by lifting heavy weights one day and then not doing it for the rest of the week, and then expecting that you're going to be very strong with those particular muscle groups. Right? And so that's exactly what happens with these breathing techniques. The more you can practice, the more you're already in a state of peace and calm. And if you get triggered, your brain automatically knows to go to those calming techniques or tools that you have in your tool belt. And it's a way to build those muscles up. It takes time, and that's why it's better to do it consistently rather than just when you're stressed. The next step to gaining freedom from stress and anxiety is changing and challenging old beliefs and paradigms. See, when I start working with clients, many of them think that if you have anxiety or you are stressed, it's just going to always be there. It may be like a low grade. It might be better, but I'm going to always feel it in the background. And I'm here to challenge that belief, saying, no, you don't have to feel anxious at all. You don't have to feel any level of stress. You don't. You can live from a different place. And I used to think that way, and I no longer do that because I've changed things, and I help my clients change that too. It's changing your beliefs, old beliefs that no longer are serving you. Sometimes you're not even aware of what those beliefs are. And, unless you take down I don't like using this analogy because I love plants and trees, but I'm going to use it anyways. So unless you cut down the roots, you take a plant out from its roots, it's going to continue growing. You can't just cut out the branches and expect that the tree won't grow, right? And that's the same thing. So you have to change these beliefs and patterns from the roots. The third step to freedom is commitment. See, eventually you will realize that committing to living in peace is the best thing you can do for yourself. When you can make that commitment, saying, I'm no longer available for stress and anxiety, I'm committed to living in peace, you're going to work towards that. And then, even if you get triggered, you're like, I'm not available for this, I'm not doing this. You will set boundaries with your own feelings. You will set boundaries with your own thoughts. And you can choose. Then it comes down eventually to a choice of like, how do you want to live your life? See, most people think, again, that this is how they are going to live. And emotions, sadly, are addictive. Very addictive. And that, like when you're sad or when you're angry about something, right? You just see on social media, like it's a great example. See the posts that have the most engagement. When someone's like, I got angry about this and this happened and how dare they treat me this way. And those posts have a lot of engagement. And that's because, again, emotions are addictive when you do that. And then you get a lot of, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, and I'm sorry you felt that way, and that there's a lot of like, oh, you poor thing. That is addiction in some ways. You may or may not agree with me, and that's okay. But it comes down to, what are you committing to for your own life? So let's talk about what happens when you let go of stress and anxiety. I am going to share with you a journey. And this will summarize what the results will be when you can finally let go of stress and anxiety. So imagine you wake up in the morning, you feel so peaceful, and you're ready to face your day. You're so excited to face your day. You're so excited for what the new day is going to bring you. And you're so excited to contribute, and you're so excited to just be. You go through your entire day feeling peaceful, tapping into your inner resources, tapping into your inner wisdom, your intuition, knowing that you will find exactly what you need to, no matter what comes your way. Your creativity skyrockets. You get so much more done in your day. And yet, you're completely in tune with your needs. You have time for everything that's important for you. And there's an absolute sense of peace. And you just bask in this long-term effect of having time with your family, making the income that you want to make. Life just feels peaceful. And this is exactly what happens when you can conquer stress and anxiety. So I invite you to share with me your takeaways on Instagram, because that's where you'll find me. And if you are on Clubhouse, follow me there, because I'm soon going to be starting some rooms and some consistent place where we can talk about these things, and you can interact with me. You can actually ask me questions. We can talk. We can go through some of these processes. And I'm so excited for next week's topic, which is, there's something successful people value and live by. And I want to share that with you guys. And when I share that, you're going to be it's really going to be life-changing for you. All right, visionaries, I will connect with you in the next episode. Take care. And as always, thank you so much for allowing me to serve you in this way. And if you have found value, please leave a review and share this with your friends and family, because everyone can benefit from learning some of these tools that I'm sharing in here. All right, bye. Thank you so much for listening. I have a request for you. If you found value, chances are that your friends and family will too. So if you can leave a positive review on iTunes, it will help reach so many more people. And if you have any topics or questions you would like me to feature, please send them to support@padmaali.com. And lastly, please share your takeaways and breakthroughs with me on Instagram @Padma Ali. Thank you so much for tuning in.